we have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order.
Imagine the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and our forebears built to defend against tyranny, built to strengthen liberty as a fortress. Now its walls pulled down, its battlements crushed, its doors rammed open, but still we're here inside Fortress Liberty. We could still defend the breaches, but instead the enemy has its own agents above us leading the citadel. Stand down, it's your friends. There's no army at the gates. There's no assault. There's no new world order. Don't listen to conspiracy theorists. Those of you at the walls, at the holes, at the breaches, stand back, lay down your swords. There's no army there. Oh, the children, the terrorists are gonna attack with guns. Just turn in the firearms. Just let us have some reasonable gun control for the children so they're safe. Let us ban whatever we want and register everyone and by fiat ban anyone we want from owning a gun and ban any guns we want. Sign over international bodies and unitary to UN to control us through treaty. Oh, we just want to be your friend. We're the government. Oh. Just turn the guns in and everything will be fine, and then you'll be safe. You'll be safe. We want to protect you. We're the government. They're the nice people. We're Rahm Emanuel, Nancy Pelosi, and Dick Cheney. Secretary of Defense Gates. There you go. Give me that gun. There now. Now these nice men in black uniforms are going to take care of you. But wait, you said I'd be safe if I did this. You are safe. Safe to be my slave, and I choose to allow you to live.
World wars change worlds. And if you have a global agenda, then global problems allow you to offer global solutions. And if you look at how the world was transformed by the First World War and the Second World War, the world was a completely different place after both of those wars. And the idea all along has been to have a third world war to complete the transformation into a global state with a world government and a world army dictating to the global population.
Based on this, this new world order stuff, and where in the minds of some people, where they were like, it won't be too bad, it's because of all these problems we're having. There'd only be a solution, and like what I'll revert back to that one is, it's the problem, reaction, solution. The solutions are all pre-planned, and when you look at false flag ups, which say they were, you've got to see in that view. If I'd have seen it without any holes in their stories, as not false flag, I would have said, well, that would be a solution to this new world order. But when you're seeing it where I'm seeing it from, it's basically what they're saying is, basically what they've done is they've caused these problems to cause this solution, which the problem would be all these wars and stuff, and the solution would always be, to make this new world order, one world army, one world government, to bring a new order to the human race and stuff, to make it all great. But what you got to see is when those a lot of those were false flag ops. I mean, even World War II, which you'll go into, you've got to see that they were deliberately done for money and stuff, and they're all done over evil. So therefore, this new world order isn't about, making it a better world. It's based on what I've been talking about, basically martial law to imprison us all and taking away our rights. World War II, what I discovered was to be a false flag op. To cause the Nazi regime, etc. Now that's going back to World War II, and I'll put that up in the video as a reminder. Basically, it was Hitler and something to do with Russia, and basically they caused, near enough, it was like a 9/11 style, burned a building on fire and stuff, blamed it on Russia or something, and from there it led on to World War II. I mean, we can use that as an example, fast forward to 2001, September 11th, which is shown to be most likely false flag op, 7/7 and the rest, Madrid, etc. Now, when these are pre-planned, it means that, the problem, reaction, solution method, as David Icke says, it also means that, this world war this New World Order is also, and like I said, since 1776, where America was founded, Rothschilds, etc., Federal Reserve, you know, it's saying that this was all pre-planned. In any kind of war, like I said, all of them, you know, as well. So, you know, never look at it like, you know, it's just all these problems we've been having, and it changed the world. It's all based on pre-planned problems, based on violence and war, to bring in this new world order. I mean, what I've been saying before, you know, these RDIF chips, RFID chips in America, like I said, what I was explaining to those, what I was basically saying is they've got radio transmitters on them, radio frequencies. Now, these in America, American citizens, when you have those under your skin, as a few people have discovered, it's basically, you know, this is how the mind control works. I mean, where mine's located, that's been in there since birth. This lady in America, as she mentioned, it's wet near enough where, you know, they say, you know, like where it would go into your brain, like the neurons near your frontal lobes. Those things have got radio frequencies on them. They don't need electrical power, you know, and therefore, basically, it means that these people in America have had them, you know, wherever those devices, you know, they can control their minds and influence them. And therefore, you know, as these are being implicated or, you know, introduced to America very subtly and very sinisterly, it means, in my opinion, with good reason, based on everything I've been talking about, to me, you know, it's basically to just use as a population control for when this martial law is about to be introduced to America, and therefore Americans will basically be enslaved. And you know, you've got to see it on a serious level. You know, you're being treated like animals. Those are RFID chips, like I said, they're basically already for animals like dogs and stuff, and they use them on them. So I'm asking myself, you know, why are they trying to put them on people? And you should ask yourself that. So, you know, all these things that point out to this new world order, it's not something as they try to make it out to be, to bring the order of peace to the world. They say peace, but it's based on deception, as much as their false flag ops, with very good reason, were, you know, based on deception over money and war. And you know, if you really think that it's going to bring peace, then you'll be shocked, because they'll catch you all with your pants down. So, you know, you just got to make sure you're wary of this, and you know, it's not so as sweet as and innocent as it looks, you know, as all of these things don't. And you know, what I was going across, I've got a few notes, is this is in you know, like addressing towards authorities and stuff. And basically what I was trying to put across before is, you know, they use a lot of authorities to basically you know, go corrupt via bribery. You know, it's kept very silent, but you know, there are dirty police, etc. out there, you know, basically go corrupt. Now basically what I'll put across to you, if you have gone corrupt, is they wouldn't give a damn about you as much as they don't care about these people. And what I was saying before was, you know, like organised crime, you know, they can bribe people to do things as well. But if they become a liability to them, they'll do the same to you as organised crime criminals do. So never think, you know, because they've bribed you some money, you know, that you're suddenly important or you're untouchable. These people don't care about themselves, anyone but themselves. And I mean, this is a small group of who they are, and anyone below them, you know, you're just seen as much as the other people right at the bottom. You know, it's very serious stuff, and sometimes, you know, people don't realise these things. And this is all I know on those parts. You know, there's that part where, you know, same as the army, military, as you see what happened to soldiers, they're made to feel important, you know, to their country and the country they're serving. As you know, as they're you know, they're basically brainwashed into going to this war, tricked to going into the war. But like I said, a lot of them find out when they're made homeless and stuff, or, you know, basically shut onto the worst levels that they were used. They were basically fooled to make them feel important to their country. They're serving it You know, they'll be heroes. They'll be heroes in the eyes of the nation. And then as soon as they're used for the job they were done to do over blood money, they're basically showing a different side to how important they were. And it's no different to police or anybody else. I mean, if they bribe people, like I said, that's all they care about for you. And these are just some of the things. And like I said, I can only go to certain points where I can try and wake people up. And this is what I'll try and do. You know, a lot of people on this earth, you know, general civilians, citizens and stuff, and you know, a lot of them are scared to imagine things like this, along with the brainwashing that they're led to believe it's just a load of crap. But you know, if they're ever sure that it was true or possible, it does scare them, and I think it would scare a lot of people across the world. And this is why I'm trying to prevent what's going on, not for my sake, but for your sakes. Said, fuck knows what will happen to me, but you know, as far as I'm aware, you know, as I see the world now, apart from the money system, economic system, wage and stuff, you know, the world's a pretty decent place. And like I said, even when I realise the things I talk about, I still sometimes have a moment of clarity, or you know, a moment to think, you know, imagine like a place where I'm looking at now. You know, to imagine it could be, you know, different to how I see it now. You know, like martial law, people being told what to do, ordered around, enslaved, worse than we feel now. But it's possible. I mean, America, when I first saw, you know, this stuff going on, and they were talking about martial law, you know, FEMA and stuff going on over there. You know, I thought it was just propaganda, or, you know, just some kind of, you know, like crap. And I just found so much disbelief. But you know, it's showing possibilities of it happening, and it's just a click of a finger. You wake up the next morning in America, and all of a sudden, you know, it's a whole different level to what you saw when you woke up yesterday, Philadelphia or somewhere like that. It's you know, it's something that, as much as you'll even find it hard more to imagine being done, that I still can't kind of grasp to imagine is possible. And therefore, I just want to make people aware, same as UK, doesn't matter what country in the world, you know, if they can find a law or a reason to suddenly change that, they can. And it's a whole different level of scariness for the general public if they ever turn around and see that. And there's a few more things I'm going to go through, but I need to go through my notes.
The Puzzle of 9/11 and 9/11 101. Now, because of this official 9/11 story, the war of terrorism has begun, and we must ask ourselves, has anything else like this ever happened in history? On February 27, 1933, a fire began that ripped through the Parliament building of Germany. The fire gutted the Reichstag building, and it was reported that a pro-communist anarchist found at the site started the fire. The National Socialist German Workers' Party, or what we now refer to as Nazis, quickly blamed the Communist Party and their political oppositions as terrorists. After the fire, Germany's president, Paul von Hindenburg, signed an emergency decree that gave Hitler almost emergency powers. Massive arrests soon took place. The media at the time, remember, was only newspaper and radio. This media helped spread the Nazis' anti-communist propaganda. The emergency elections were held on May 5, 1933. With the Nazis having the majority of the seats, the Nazi-dominated Reichstag passed a law, quote, for the removal of distress from the people and the state, on March 23, 1933. This law has been now called the Enabling Act because it enabled the German government to do what they needed to seek and destroy the terrorist opposition. The Enabling Act gave Adolf Hitler full dictatorial powers over the German people. They were enslaved, and the Constitution was thrown out. Historical documents from Nazi archives now show that it was in fact Adolf Hitler's stormtroopers who had set the fire at the Reichstag. But with the media controlled by the Nazi government, this small but so important fact did not make it to the German people. Now, in a bi-weekly German Armed Forces magazine, Die Wehrmacht, from 1939, the claim was made that Poland had plans to invade Germany. This magazine article was the first to report on Nazi Germany's claim that Poland would overtake the country if the invasion of Poland was not preemptively stopped. Where have we heard that before? This article also makes the claim that Hitler was completely innocent and was only doing what he could to protect Germany. The following is a translation from that magazine's article. Because we were forced into invasion by England and their Polish allies, if the enemy had not begun to fight now, they would have within 2 or 3 years. England and France started the war in 1939 because they feared that in 2 or 3 years Germany would become stronger militarily and harder to defeat. England's claims, roosted in the economic disparity between its home territory and its overseas possessions, had to lead the English to react in bold and impudent ways in the face of some German people who, under Adolf Hitler, were developing their strength in unprecedented ways. Poland is the only remaining Slavic country in Eastern Europe. Rather than decrease the Polish hatred to ethnic Germans and of German-Polish peace, England did all within her power to feed the fire that was burning between Katowice and Danzig. Their goal was to use the situation to encourage a war with Germany. Rather than encourage Poland to accept our leader's generous proposal to resolve the situation, England encouraged them to lead the deadline pass, thereby providing a reason for war. Our leader felt morally obligated to strike back only after Polish troops had crossed the German border in several places. The German fight is a defensive fight. We fight because we were forced to fight. We are fighting for the most valuable possession, freedom. We are fighting for our lands, our skies. We are fighting so that our children will not be slaves to foreign rulers. We are fighting for Germany's freedom and for Germany's right to be a people that has all essentials to preserve its national existence. Our leader has made unprecedented offers for peace and understanding to those who are now fighting against us. His attempts were continuously rejected because they want this fight. We are fighting for a lasting peace. We are fighting to save our children from the unbearable threats of Western democracies driven by envy and hatred. We are fighting for a happy future in a free Germany and a peaceful Europe. Now, Hitler used this homeland or fatherland Germany and its protection to preemptively engage in war. And of course, the rest is history. But this is the same thing pulled from our headlines. Imagine this. We are fighting a lasting peace. We are fighting to save our children from the unbearable threats of terrorism, driven by envy and hatred. We are fighting for a happy future in a free United States and in a peaceful world. Ladies and gentlemen, history is repeating itself. We should all know by now, unless you're now just starting to get into this, and I strongly stress you research this, there is no evidence linking any Muslims or Arabs to 11th September. Just the same as there was no Polish invasion of Germany. Hitler and Bush's actions were coldly prepared long before the Reichstag burned and those Twin Towers fell.
What I was regarding about, you know, which ladies generally do more, see my videos as, but some dudes, but, you know, like see them as boring and stuff, you know, I send people to sleep. What I was going along in this method, I mean, you know, like entertainment and stuff, you know, if you ever wanted the way I'd see in life, you know, even I like entertainment, as if sometimes, you know, it's good to have a little bit of education along with entertainment and stuff. You know, sometimes you can spread that out. And like I said, it's not as if I was trying to imply, you know, just sit there and watch boring ass documentaries all day and stop watching funny programs or soaps and stuff. What I was trying to imply was that there's nothing wrong with watching an hour's worth of education during spreading it out, you know, a little bit of knowledge. And like I said, these videos aren't like, you know, I'm talking about, you know, how engines are made, or, you know, how bolts are put into walls. I'm talking about stuff, you know, which concerns yourself and your welfare. You know, it's one of those things that they use to distract people, entertainment, and see, so you all, not just ladies, so I don't stereotype, but even other dudes, you know, as boring and stuff, you know, because they want you to just listen to that mainstream news, listen to what you're told, and, you know, basically find anything like this boring. But the thing is, it concerns your well-being as people as much as anyone else, and it's something important. You know, it's politics, and you know, it's not exactly the greatest stuff. It's like paint drying on a wall, but you know, it also has concerns for your well-being in general, everybody. And like I said, basically, you know, spread entertainment with a little bit of education. You know, it's not as if these videos, well, they are, but like they're a bit long, but You know, you could be watching your favourite programmes and then just have a little bit of education to do with you know, your personal lives, you know, during that period, without you know, as I'm talking about ladies, I'm talking about time period. I think it was a lady over there on my paranoia. But like I said, you know, that's all I know on that one. And something, you know, if you want to think about your kids and stuff and their future, then that's also part of it. So, you know, sometimes a little bit of knowledge, or, you know, a little bit of insight into our lives is good. Even if I, you know, send you to sleep, or, you know, you use my videos to your insomnia problems, you know, when you can't sleep well. But that's all I know on that one. And a little bit of entertainment, education based on that. It's just how it goes. And like I said, you know, I'm not the type of dude that likes to keep talking about boring ass stuff. I like to joke, but this is what I do. And like I said, whatever about me in my genetics and stuff, I'm just not wasting those things that I have the ability to do to help other people. And you know, like I said, don't really have much else in my personal life going on. Like I was saying, referring back to the you know, the how the general population nowadays are, you know, more tranced into entertainment, which isn't a bad thing. We all need entertainment, but what I'm trying to say is, you know, it's another psychological method, in my opinion, that, you know, basically everybody, especially younger kids nowadays, or, you know, people around my age, see politics as bullshit and boring. Like I said before, you look on a lot of people's Facebooks profiles, you see politics, it says bullshit or boring, and there's a reason behind that. You know, it's like people would rather watch entertainment stuff, celebrity stuff and stuff like that, and mainstream music, than rather, you know, even be educated. And there's a reason behind that. You know, that's just out of honesty and the way I've analysed the general public. You know, but these things are very important. I mean, a good example was Banksy, of what he was saying on advertising, but it's no different to mainstream news. What he was saying is basically they take a cheap shot at you with some kind of stuff, and then they just disappear. And the mainstream news, what I was saying before, is like that. They basically come onto your screen, tell you what to believe, and then they disappear. And then, you know, you're thrown on with some entertainment, comedy, celebrity stuff, whatever it is. And that's it. You know, they take you all for fools. All I do, and as I said, this isn't a war, a political war, whatever. It's just showing a different side to what you're showing. you know, for a good reason. Is you know, I basically show you a different side to what you've not been taught and stuff, or what you don't really know more into. You know, and this is all I know. And therefore, you know, it's always good to listen to another side of what you're told. Like I said, there's always two sides to a story. You know, the media never told you all of the psychological trickery and techniques they use. I learned and told you those. You know, they never told you a lot of things my videos put into, and it's always good to see the insight into those. You don't have to sit there and go, oh, you know, oh, Alex is right and mainstream news are lies. You know, you're the judge and jury as the public. You decide to go, you know, you decide, you know, he's right, they're wrong, or they both have two sides to the story. How you doing, dude? How you getting on? And like I said, you've always got to listen to both sides and stuff. I mean, as I was saying before, a court case and that, in there, if you've got two sides, like mainstream versus conspiracy theorist, you know, they're both going to have a good side to both what they're saying about. And this is where I come across on my side. I mean, I just don't trust the mainstream news when I've seen a lot of holes in their official stories. And this is where they're all corporate owned by the government themselves, or the government of those countries. And you know, the people who are behind, you know, like false flag ops and stuff, you know, who own them, says to me that they told, or they tell them what to say, and misinformation. So, you know, I always try and make sure that's put out there as well. Like I said, good examples, but again, it's up to you. 9/11's the best one, and you know, I've got a few videos on there, and there's a few up on you know, with decent to them. I mean, those briefly 9/11, you know, the WTC-7 reported to full 25 minutes before it fell on the mainstream news, ABC, CNN, BBC News. You know, they said it collapsed. It still showed it standing 25 minutes before it did. You know, George Bush's brother was in charge, or, you know, something to do with the men who went in and out of the Twin Towers. You know, why it was closed for a few hours a day or week or so before 9/11. You know, where it was suspected or found to have be a controlled demolition. You know, there's so many things like that. You know, like we've got demolition experts saying that's a controlled demolition. That wasn't a you know, like a collapse of a building. You know, it's like forensic science. You know, loads of stuff, and these are just brief points. And like I said, it's always up to you to watch them. But like I said, basically, in my opinion, but again, it's your own choice as people, is to you know, choose yourself. You know, whether you put a little bit of education, or, you know, a little bit of knowledge into your daily life via TV or news, or computer, YouTube and stuff, with the entertainment, comedy, right, dude, comedy and stuff, soaps and stuff. Even if you're ladies, which ladies more find boring, but other dudes as well, won't stereotype. And you know, it'll enlighten you a little bit on the side of you know, things that concern yourself more. Like I said, so that's all I know on that one. But you know, recap on what I said before, I wouldn't believe, and I never did, and sometimes I still don't, you know, that what's going on across the world, and these things to be false flag ops, or this evil, you know, that it would exist. But, you know, like sitting here, you know, I'm seeing kids and stuff playing around, it's peaceful and stuff, sunlight's out, you know, it's a peaceful place. And you know, I always used to think that, but sometimes you got to realise that where we are now, or where you are, which is peaceful, it's not like that what's going on where there's war, you know, war-ridden countries. You know, over there it's going to be a whole different scene, and you'd be crapping yourself if you saw what's going on over there. You know, things going off everywhere and shooting and stuff. And like I said, you don't know what goes on behind closed doors. you know, behind these suspected false flag ops, you know, where people would plan those as much as organised criminals would plan their things, as, you know, behind closed doors. It's for a reason nobody can know, otherwise they give themselves away and they can't cover up their crimes. And it's simple as that. And so therefore, you know, believe it or not, the world isn't as sweet as it seems. I'm not trying to say people think they're in a fairy tale world, but I don't think people grasp, you know, that as much as I never used to, that there are people who are now been suspected with good reason, you know, to be as soft as sweet as they are. You know, I can only make people aware, or more aware, of what's going on. And like I said, hopefully, you know, things can change. You know, I don't know what what was going on in Spain or Greece recently this year, but it looks like people are standing up against, you know, what's going on, or they're being more aware. As I said, I was seeing recently in Spain, 2 million people protest march. And I mean, when I saw the power of the numbers in that picture, it showed, you know, the atmospheric power. And, you know, if that's something to do with what people in Spain are aware of, this new world order, you know, it's showing good signs. Greece, like I said, Athens, it looked like people were doing the same. You know, people are becoming aware. You know, that's what we need. You know, this is where it comes to protesting now. People might have the ideology that protesting in groups is never going to change. They have to do something insane. But what I was saying before, which the revolution video showed, I tried to show, you know, those power in numbers. You know, atmospherically you show power as a, you know, like a group of people. You know, you don't have to be violent. As I said, it's peaceful, but you don't realise, you know, the power. You know, if you look at those pictures, like the Spanish protest or whatever, and you see the power of the numbers of those people, it makes a very big effect. And when you, as those groups of people protesting, are saying, you know, we're not happy with our being trapped, you know, we would like some respect. Whatever you're protesting about, you'll see the power, you know, atmospheric, if you really look. And it does make a difference. And like I said, referring back to the 1%, versus 99% being you, whether it's the people of a population, nation to the world. You know, there's a reason, again, based on that, you know, why they want us to be divided and kept asleep. And, you know, like ridicule any people like me and Ike, you know, anyone like that, because they know those protesting marches, you know, very big powers of millions or more, less even, you know, they show, you know, power to them. And until people realise that, you know, they never will. I mean, Spain, I know going on there, you know, vaguely, you know, like the economic crisis and stuff, and how people are being trapped there. But whatever they did, you know, they stood up for their rights, whatever it was regarding, and I could see they were showing power. And this is what other people need to do if they feel like they're being treated fairly, which peaceful protesting still right now is still legal, especially in the UK. It's basically say, look, we would like a bit more respect because, you know, we're being treated like that, and that's what we need to do. Said you don't have to go rioting and stuff. You know, London riots, you know, they showed the bad side, you know, of an uncivil side. and therefore, you know, it's just being peaceful. You don't have to be civil. And this is why we're referring back to, you know, the non-violent extremism law they're trying to bring into the subsection Terrorism Act. Now, to me, in my opinion, if you were peacefully protesting, I believe peaceful protesting would also be illegal, based on, because, you know, non-violent extremism is basically being extremely peaceful. And in my opinion, it would probably make it illegal for you as the public, British public, to even do, based on that one. You know, if that law is implied, and you know, therefore, you know, if you were being checked like that, you know, you just wouldn't have the right to, you know, it's the way I see it anyway. You know, there's a lot of things that it wouldn't just, like I said, this non-violent extremism, you know, they're, again, you know, they're not telling you the bigger picture. They're saying it's just potential criminals and stuff, you know, are people like conspiracy theorists. But what you don't realise is that law could apply to anything else that regards being extremely peaceful, i.e. protesting, peaceful protesting for your civil rights. Anything to do with being peaceful in general. And again, they don't tell you those things. So, you know, in my opinion, that's just the way to resolve things. Because otherwise, as seen in the British population, you know, people feel hopeless, powerless when they're, you know, when they feel like they're being treated by dirt by the government. You know, the only way you can stand up for your rights is to do that in groups, i.e. protesting. And there's no other way you're ever going to try and make a civil approach to resolving things for being mistreated. So, you know, never underestimate peaceful protesting or protesting in general. You know, it does show a power, you know, the more groups of people there are. You know, it's all I know on this one. I mean, the world's going downhill, and like I said, this world martial law, it's not going to be as good as you think. And like I said, I doubt anyone wants to be treated like animals and stuff, as they will be. So that's all I leave on that one. You know, there's always a bigger picture behind everything, and you'll soon realise, like I said, do your own research on it. You know, follow from what I've said, make sure what I've been talking about is true, or, you know, has reasoning behind it, or insight or backup to it, and look for yourselves. You know, those videos I put together, I used the best sources I could, trusted media sources. You know, I put those things together, and you know, I've done my best to try and prove, even to the skeptics, the Matrix ones aside, on the realistic level, you know, that what I'm talking about, you know, has sense to it. It's not just Illuminati, aliens, fairies, and God knows what else. So, you know, just want to make people aware. You know, if you're not happy with being mistreated in your general life, you stand up for yourself against your family, whoever it is, and say, look, I'm not happy. Government is our family, you know, they're looking after us, and if they're mistreating us, you've got to show that you're not happy as well. And it's just about respect between the partnership, and that's all I was ever looking for. You know, as I said, I'm a socialist in their eyes, but for some reason socialists are seen as the enemy. So cheers. And then like I was saying again, you know, based on you know, again, a logical, you know, laws, and this was based on what I was saying to a couple of dudes. You know, basically, you know, the economic system, and you know, the people at the bottom of it, i.e. poverty and stuff. What I was basically saying to them was, you know, that we've got a lot of crime boosts going on here. You know, police needing more recruitment and police, and more antisocial behaviour stuff. Now, what I was saying on regards of you know, the poverty in the economic system is, you know, when it comes to tax cuts to people on benefits who are mainly in council estates, or, you know, bad areas, you know, that's all that's doing is boosting crime. You know, they're left to starve, they have no money to rely on, and therefore they do what they've got to do, whether it's drug dealing, stealing and stuff. Now, a lot of the general public are, you know, brainwashed to view as society those people as scum or whatever, you know, without looking into the reason why they do it. But you know, like I was saying to these dudes was, you know, you're left to, you're stranded on an island with no money or nothing, you know, to live on. You would have to do what you had to do to survive. You know, you'd have to hunt and stuff, and it's no different to living in a first world country or wherever. And you know, you're basically you're stuck in a poverty-stricken area with no other choice when you're left to starve, but to do crime to feed yourself, your family, or whatever. You know, I believe the government should understand that, or there's something going on theoretically to do with economic boosts. You know, to the reason to why to that. I mean, again, if the PM isn't happy with crime, you know, he wants to reduce crime and wants crime reduction, the only fairest thing he could do is basically give more benefits to the people who has no choice but to be on them, you know, in poverty-stricken areas. Those people, therefore, you know, they're not going to have to go and do crime, steal, etc. Like I said, be choiceless. You know, a lot of general public see, again, poverty-stricken area, criminal, you know, they say criminals this, criminals that. You know, they say, oh, go and get a job, oh, bums and stuff. Now, this is where it comes, as everyone says, you know, the lack of work and stuff, a right-wing view, immigration stuff aside, it would make no difference. But as I said, even so, you know, not everyone can work here. And therefore, you know, you know, people in council estates and stuff still have no choice, you know, and this is why it was illogical where, you know, they're trying to reduce what they can on anybody who can basically work and stuff. You know, I be on benefits, try and make them work again, and then what we refer back to is, you know, the lack of work in general. You know, it leaves people choiceless. You know, they can't find work, but yet, you know, they'll be sanctioned if they you know, if they don't find work, or, you know, they lose their benefits and they're forced to. You know, it's illogical. And then yet again, you know, those people, they're left with no choice again but to either steal, shoplift, or do what they've got to do to survive. I mean, human beings, what do we have to do? Just like animals, we have to eat, we need to drink. You know, without those, we starve to death, or we, you know, we dehydrate. So, you know, in my opinion, as I said, I look at it from a middle view, not a biased view. You know, people have to do what they've got to do to survive, and therefore, in my opinion, no, instead of cutting off people's benefits, sanctioning them or whatever, you know, people should be kept on those benefits for the bonus of, you know, the authorities, the government, on the side of, you know, a reduced crime. People don't have to do what they've got to do to survive. And for the people who have no choice but to be on benefits, you know, to eat and stuff and survive themselves. You know, sometimes people don't see those things behind those situations, and I look into those myself because I'm seeing it from you know, a middle view and stuff. And like I said, right, there they getting on. And like I said, so therefore, you know, this is why I was saying it's based on the logical thinking. In my eyes are seeing where the government is saying things like that. I mean, you know, there's so many things like this that don't make sense. And again, people are unhappy and stuff for a reason. You know, they're being cut from benefits and stuff, and they're being left to starve and stuff. No choice but to do what they've got to do. And then everybody's saying, oh, these people are criminals because, you know, they're stealing, they're doing what they've got to do. And yet they're not seeing that the government themselves, which isn't disrespect or rebellion, but just simply put across, actually basically leaving those people with no choice but to do what they've got to do. And you know, that's based on survival. So basically what I'm trying to put across is, you know, if people aren't happy with how they're being treated, the only thing you can do is basically stand up for your rights and say you're not happy. Where people are working class, middle class or higher, you know, have that right, although it's really mainly working, you know, is that you won't be stereotyped or, you know, treated like animals. And I'm just being honest on this one. So the poor, low working class were to protest as groups, you know, from council estates. The way I've seen people have been treated, even if they were civil, first thing they'd be done is treated like animals. Riot police and stuff are usually sent out, or, you know, they're treated as society sees them as low, bottom of the dirt. When I've seen people who are, you know, working class, higher waged, you know, they're treated with more civil respect. And where the division lays based on this system of division is where the working class see the poor, low working class as, you know, inferior, and that's where the division, you know, I'm not talking fairy tale, but here, you know, where people stand together is basically, you know, if the poor, low working class and working class processes together, if it was an example, you know, it cause less division, but it takes understanding, you know, into people's backgrounds. Otherwise, you know, you're just going to keep seeing people as inferior just because of, you know, like your bank account. And that's part of the division system, divide and conquer, you know, a general population. So, you know, this is how it goes. I mean, there's only ways you can basically stand up for yourself. And sometimes, you know, again, referring back to, you know, either taking a responsible approach, you know, as a grown-up, peacefully protesting, or, you know, irresponsible and, you know, rioting and causing carnage, which will never help anyway. And like I said, you know, the way I see it, you know, there's so many things wrong with both nations and stuff. It's not just United Kingdom, but also the USA and stuff, Europe, kind of some of the countries, like I said, Spain, Greece, which were both based on economics, you know, recessions and stuff. You know, I only can advise and give insight into what I talk about, but it's up to people to make their own decisions. But, you know, like my nose is going now, you know, I'm sure like the Anglian water van at my street, you know, I need to be fixing leaks, as they do with my internet most likely. But like I said, it's all I know on that one. So, you know, you just do what you need to do. You know, choose how you see the world, and always be responsible. And like I said, that's where I'll leave it there. Cheers. Well, I'll leave on this, what's going on with, you know, like, well, I'll explain, because suspicions derived from what people have said regarding about these webcams I've set up in my living room. And basically what I'll leave on that one is just in case, you know, based on, you know, paranoia of being set up or being accused of shit, was it was regarding this lady Inga. And like I said, weeks ago or whatever it was, months and months ago, you know, when she'd been in there, you know, I didn't even realise she'd been moved into there. Basically what I did is I phoned the police. I was concerned for her safety and stuff, and without realising they'd moved her in to there, the rear bungalow behind me. A few weeks later, I basically sit in my kitchen and cooking food, and like I said, senses, you know, I looked round out my window and I saw her looking out the middle window at me. From there, you know, what followed on briefly was, you know, suspicion regarding just like a lot of things, to say that she wasn't being looked after, you know, a lot of suspicious behaviour and stuff, which I won't keep going through. And so what I did, I basically put those webcams, you know, like it's called policing the police. I suspect the ones who were looking after her. And, you know, it was the only way solution I had to it. But like I said, why I'm explaining myself in this webcam part, because a friend of mine, he was implying things, you know, quite subtly, not directly, that, you know, people have been implying that I was, you know, basically watching over there whether she was in there or not, or if she's in there or not, but basically spying on people like some kind of pervert or stalking her. You know, that's what the dude was implying, a friend of mine, when it came to that. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised based on the fact that I feel I've been set up too many times, like I said, more times than a deck chair and Skegness or something. Therefore, you know, I just want to make sure that's clear. You know, there was a lot of things to do with one of the men that via his body language and stuff, based on after putting forward suspicions through Facebook, what the police read regarding his body language, the behaviour, etc. What I was seeing on camera afterwards, it looked like diversion and distraction techniques being used. Headlight test on the walls the first time I set the cameras up, as if they were seeing if they could be seen or not on camera. That video I made, which was basically analysis of suspicious behaviour. So this is why I want to make sure basically that my name's clear. I mean, I'm not sure on the full story. I mean, I don't follow rumours, but I do remember my friend implying that he was trying to make out that she'd been put in there as she is or was in there because of me, and that I was the reason she was under police protection. And as I said, I don't believe in rumours, but if it was, I'd be more pissed off than ever, because like I said, the reason I phoned the police in the first place was because she basically told me that she was in danger near enough, or in a situation which I condemn to see ladies in, being assaulted and stuff. And if it was true, and I put was because I'm not sure, don't have accurate information, that would upset me, because like I said, I actually phoned the police to try and get help for her out of the situation. The webcams, the dude was saying that, implying, indirectly saying as if they're trying to make me out to be a stalker or perving on her in there and stuff. And this is where I explained to him, it's not that, it's because, as I said, whoever they are, I don't know, I'm assuming good reason, police protection, they were showing signs of suspicion. And, I'm not the type of dude to know the police or see them as the bill. There can be dishonest and honest cops. And, therefore I don't just go out there police, I'll trust them, especially based on suspicion. So therefore what I've been doing with the webcams is basically hooking them up, keeping them on record, and hoping that there's anybody honest in the authorities, whether it's police or higher up, can basically watch those cameras, like even why I have them hooked up to my laptop to monitor and analyse their behaviour near enough, but I have the power more so to, investigate, more than I can. I mean, I only have limits. I'm not a government employee, I don't work for the police, etc. So therefore I don't have the authority, if I did, to say, make sure she's looked after, taken care of, with no faults, etc. But unfortunately, I have limited abilities to what I can do, and the best I can do with a realistic approach is watch over there, let the authorities watch from my webcams. They might have their own surveillance up, I'm not sure, I don't know, so I keep my webcams up, and I hope they can look and tell it themselves. Like I said, this is the main principle of why, before, when I saw or noticed that what they looked like to be looking after her, I actually didn't set these webcams up. When I noticed she was in there, basically I actually put trust in them. I was like, oh, they're looking after her, and I don't know why they've put her in this bungalow behind me, but it's like crazy and stuff. But like I said, their behaviour, etc., showed me that there's something suspicious. And like I said, the first thing I did via Facebook, which they read, was forward my concerns, in hope that they'd look through it, and that it went from there. And like I said, so all in all on this one is I'm hoping that she's okay, and I'm hoping that things are being looked into. Like I said, I've not been told where she is, if she's okay, etc. And all I know is now and again I sense her in there, and I've been misinformed not once but twice, about being alive or dead. I mean, the first time, people were saying, oh, she's dead and stuff. That few weeks after that, I see her in the rear left bungalow looking directly up at me, through the window. I've been told she's dead before that, and then I see her alive in there. And this is where, the trust for nobody, the cherry in the top to not trust the thing came across. It's the worst thing you can tell someone about. Again, the several days ago or so, someone was misinforming me, saying she was dead again, and I sent her in the bungalow again. And like I said, lied to me once about it, I'll never trust you again. So I just want to make sure, you know, that one's put forward. You know, like I said, that video is basically analysis put forward to the authorities and stuff to basically say, look, I've been analysing this of what so far I've seen, and it looks suspicious. You know, I don't trust, you know, one of the men I suspected who showed those signs of being guilty, you know, even looking after her. And like I said, especially him, and I would like him looked into, or, you know, the situation itself. So, you know, I'll leave it on that one. Like I said, sometimes there were friends of hers that implied that they thought I could be like some kind of action hero style, go in there, you know, I don't know, stupid stuff. And basically what the explanation is, even if that was the option, you know, in their eyes, if any of those people didn't like me, as soon as it was seen as trespassing, they would have been quick to handcuff me, you know, arrest me or anything. And the way I see myself as her only, you know, the only person concerned for her safety, and the only person there to, you know, watch over her and do the best I can. You know, I have limits to what I can do. And like I said, if I was high up in authority, she wouldn't even be in any kind of danger, and I'd make sure she was safe in the first place. But unfortunately, you know, I'm unemployed on benefits, and this is only what I can do, you know, and a more realistic, responsible approach as those kinds of people work. You know, like I said, in their mind state, or the mind state I work is, you know, you have a situation, two possibilities. One's approaching it the wrong way, I having a bad outcome, which would have been doing, you know, the Hollywood style, hero style thing. And then the other option is to take it more responsibly, even though there's cons to that one, you know, there's consequences to it, but, you know, it also keeps me, you know, watching over her in this situation where, you know, I can do my best. And this is why I took that option. You know, I'll just try and leave this as short as possible, but, you know, I just want to make sure that's clear. I mean, like I said, whether people believe my senses, telepathy, whatever you want to call it, all I know is when I've been in there, you know, the past couple of days or a few days ago, like I said, these senses, I was laying there near enough sleeping, like a feeling on my head from the direction it was coming from, my hair pricking up, or on my forehead, and I sensed a random message I sent her ages ago. I started grinning and stuff, and, you know, I sensed it was her, and like I said, that's been a couple of times. So I don't know, like I said, she's got to be in there, or, you know, well, my mind's playing tricks on me, but I just want to make sure that she's okay. Like I said, I don't know what's going on, if there's some kind of cover-ups going on. You know, like I said, my friend, he was trying to imply stuff like, you know, that she's not even in there and stuff. And like I was having some kind of delusion of seeing her, but I saw her for myself. And I'm 110% on that. So, like I said, I won't stop watching over there, or, you know, showing my concerns until I'm, you know, shown proof or whatever, you know, to basically say that she's okay, she's safe. I'm the only person I feel is concerned for if she's still in there. And without me, you know, I believe that, you know, there's no one else. You know, like I said, when I'm misinformed about being alive or dead, you know, who can I trust? But that's all I want to explain on that part, because like I said, like on that last video where they can make things look like whatnot they are, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they did that with those webcams. And just so you know, so cheers.